So welcome everybody to the session 4 of the Get Known, Get Hired live training session. It is our final live training session. So great to see all of you guys making it through this point. It's been really great delivering this program for you guys. What I will do is I'm sharing screen. So today's session, it's on how to sell yourself. So following the course outline, the purpose of this course is for you to become known by your target audience, to be the solution to their problems, and the objective is, of course, to get hired. And we are now in week 4, how to sell yourself. Let's go back, do a bit of a recap of our journey so far. So with all the pre-event session, we did some work to look at where are you now, what are your values, what are you looking for, and hopefully you connected with some real people. It's a research, and we ended up with a target role or a job that you want to aim for in this program. Session 1, we out of that target role, we work backwards to develop your personal brand. So this is a high-level statement, getting clear on what are your top skills, your values, your achievements, and start building your story back. The session 2, we worked on developing your marketing assets, so translating your personal brand into assets that you can use on your career transition. The last session we had was finding opportunities. Okay, we talked about going for advertised positions. This is where you apply for positions that are known on websites, on company on the job boards, company websites, to recruiters and LinkedIn profile on LinkedIn itself. And we talked about the hidden job market, so using networking to directly approach decision makers, find out about opportunities through events, joining groups on LinkedIn, and volunteering. We learned about, introduce you to a tool called the Relationship Action Plan, where you identify the people that you want to target, to direct approach them, and use strategies to add value to that relationship in order to build a relationship and be able to ask for favors later on. And we start by giving. So if you are doing those things correctly, you're doing it consistently, you will start getting a lot of opportunities come your way. So the next step is how to sell yourself. So what do you do when you get in front of the decision maker? This could be in an interview. This could be in a presentation. This could be a conversation. A lot of, especially smaller companies, a lot of decisions are made over just one-on-ones or having coffees, or a series of coffees. So today, what I want to talk about first, we start with the inner game of selling. What are some of the psychology? What are some of the association that you, the mindset that you have when it comes to selling and when it comes to yourself, especially in this game where you are the product? What are some of the limiting mindsets that could be holding you back? We'll go into stepping into the shoes of the decision maker. I'll talk a bit about why people buy, and then connect it to, you know, why people hire and how people hire. We'll step into the buyer's journey. You know, just don't wake up one day and just decide to hire somebody. There is a process to go through. So by understanding that process, you'll be able to understand the context and to be able to structure your sales process, which is what you say, to say the right thing at the right time. And then I'll show you how to structure a sales call, a framework that you can use for any sales meeting, but we will use it for how to plan an interview. Okay, so if you do this correctly, unfortunately, the supply and demand favors the employer. So that is saying there's a lot more jobs. There are a lot more job seekers available compared to jobs. That's the nature of our economy, although things are getting better. Unemployment's at the low, at the historic lows, but there are still a lot more people than there are jobs. So most likely it will be a back and forth process. You might get lucky and do a hole in one, but you'll go back into finding opportunities and put more opportunities into the sales process. And by numbers, sometimes by luck, sometimes by the great effort that you put in, you'll get your goal of getting hired in your company. Okay, so this completes the whole journey. So let's get right into it. So I want to start with an exercise. Okay, sales is not something you learn by just reading something. So I'm going to get you guys to do an exercise that is very common. So get your pens out, get ready. We're going to do an interactive exercise to start off with. Do you see this pen? You're gonna sell me this pen, okay? So I'm gonna give you guys just a minute, and then we're all gonna have a go at selling this pen, okay? Or each one of us will have a turn. So just take a minute now. Put on a timer. Have a think about what you will say, and how do you gonna get this other person or the other person on the other people to buy this pen off you? Okay, just 1 minute. Any more seconds? All right. Who would like to go first? Oh, Woo, you want to go first? Actually,
yeah.
Actually, I wasn't going to get you guys to do it. It was just a bit of a test. But if you want to have a go, you can have a go. Would you like to have a go? You don't have to do it. I was just.
I can try.
You want to have a go? Good on you.
Yeah.
Go for it.
So you want to sell a pen, just one pen, or the pen product for company? You just want sell one pen, right?
Yes.
I just want to confirm the topic. Just one pen. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So as you may know, the writing is a good way to store them, to store the data, like to write, to note down what you want so that later you can read it again. And right, even though even though we use like tablet or phone to note down, but pens is like write down on papers is always the best way to memorize and to like to form an idea. That's why I think that you have the really need for a pen. And let me bring to you this pen. Is actually really great. It's made from recycled material, and when you use it, you can write around 10,000 page, which is like a lot for a normal pen. So what do you think about this? It's quite really cheap, and I think that you should buy it.
Let's give Wu a good round of applause for giving it a go. That's good. That's good. Good work. Anybody want to buy his pen? Oh, sold. Manu, good one. Actually, what I wanted to do with this.
Can I give it a try?
You want to give it a try?
Yes, please.
All right. Okay, good. Go for it.
Wei, so you are the senior project manager in BMD, right?
Yes, I am.
Do you get to sign on documents quite often, or do you get to do it digitally? Physical signatures, or do you do it digital signatures?
I'm doing more digital signatures these days.
I see your pocket is empty. You don't carry a pen with you.
I don't have any pen.
Oh, you don't have a pocket? Okay. Good. What if you're wearing a shirt that had a pocket and if you didn't have a pen? And if you had to make a physical signature, what would you prefer? What would you do?
Sure.
Looking at you as a person, I don't feel like, I mean, you don't want to be so disorganized that you want to borrow a pen from somebody.
That's true. That's true.
Okay. So the pen that you had in your picture, it's actually an expanded version. And there's an option that you can compact it.
Okay.
There's a coin size wherever you want it.
Oh, right, really? Coin size pen. It's amazing.
Yeah. So what do you think? Do you want to make signatures of yours with your pen, or you want to borrow a pen next time?
Not sure. I don't think it worries me.
Doesn't worry you? Why? Signature is important, and that's something which is very, very important as a personal feeling. So don't you like to make signatures with your own pen, or you like to make signatures with others' pen? Imagine you're walking into a government or probably a local council's office, and they give you a piece of document and ask you to sign it. And if you don't have one with you, what will you do? You say, "Oh, sorry, I forgot to bring my pen. Can I please borrow yours?"
Yeah.
That's
probably what I do.
No, that's a way of asking it. But before you ask that question, you would think twice. I didn't carry my pen today. Such a shame. So, do you think you need to carry a pen with you when you travel or wherever you go? Or you think you're more of a person that wants to borrow it?
Depends what kind of pen, I suppose.
It's the same pen that he showed me. It's a coin size. It's a coin size. Can be expanded and can do whatever you want to do with it. Apart from signatures, yeah.
Let me stop. Let me stop it there.
I was just trying to fool myself over here. Sorry.
No, that's all right. That's very common. Who has been in that situation before, where you've been cornered by a salesperson? You feel a little bit bad. Okay, so one question I want to ask you guys is, when you found out you had to do this exercise, what was the first emotion that came to your mind? I did see some of your faces. So what was the first emotion?
I'm thinking about who I gonna sell
Who are you going to sell?
and who I gonna sell and our target.
Okay.
Who will be our target? Then I think about the script to write.
Okay. So you went straight to doing the task. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Didn't
I also have the script for selling pen.
All right. Yes. Experience selling pen, man of many talents. How about you, Manu? What was your first emotion?
I was trying to see if there's a need, and I was trying to figure out how that need can be created if there is not one. And what struck to me is that because people are being on the digital world these days, digital signatures are more common. So I was trying to bring a comparison between a digital signature and a physical signature, okay? And then trying to get your emotions captured from your personal life and bring that as a point where you feel, oh, it would be a shame if I don't have a pen. That's what I was trying to.
Started with questions. That was good. Well, Vu, how did you feel? First thought, first feeling.
Sorry, I'm not sure you catch that. You want me how I'm feeling?
Yeah, what was your feeling when you found out about you had to do this exercise?
I feel uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable. Okay. Why is that?
Yeah, just want to try it. Yeah, I don't realize to ask it more like it feel like you want to take advantage of people. Like, hey,
Yeah,
you
okay.
want to, I have to
Take
do this for me.
advantage of people. Okay, good. There's some very common association with sales. You immediately when you had to sell something, your first thought is taking advantage of people. How about you, Sundar? What were some of your first feeling or first thoughts?
Was like or trying to get to see, okay, what's the best way to come out with a sales pitch. But not well, because this is in a smaller environment, but I guess maybe in a bigger environment I might have been a little bit apprehensive. It's like,
Apprehensive.
oh, okay. Yeah, but in a smaller setting, it's like, yeah, okay, this is an exercise where it's okay to fail. You try first, right? So
you get to sell on the street or go into a company to sell the pen. How would you feel?
Well, if your life depended on it, so you'll have to go out there and well, in a way, putting on your convincing cap. But I guess the best thing about sales is find out what people want first before you actually sell them a benefit or a feature. But it's like what's in it for them, rather than what's in it for you.
No worries. Okay, I'm gonna actually show you a video. Okay, it's this is like giving you the answers. This is a video of Jordan Belfort. You might know him from the actual that picture I showed, the Wolf of Wall Street. And enjoy.
Hello, Mr. Belfort. Thank you so much for being here. I have one question, and I'm a huge fan of your film, so this just comes quite naturally. Can you please sell me this pen?
You know, no one's ever asked me that before. It's the first time. So let me tell you what that whole exercise really stands for, right? So the whole sell me this pen narrative is really, it's a test that you give to a salesman to see if they really understand what selling's all about. If you ask someone who's not a professional salesman, who doesn't have the right instincts, they'll start actually trying to sell you a pen. This pen is great. This pen writes upside down. It's the best value for its money. This pen will last forever. Here, buy this pen. Here's the thing. The only one rational thing you could do when someone says, sell me this pen, and that is to start asking them questions. So tell me, how long have you been in the market for a pen? What type of pens have you used in the past? Is it business or personal? Typically, when you buy a pen, what type of money do you spend on one? Do you buy expensive pen? The key to selling is to find out, step one, what are your clients' needs, values? What pain are they looking to resolve? What do they need? And you're looking to fill that need at the most basic level, right? Well, when you just go out and try to sell something to someone, what you're saying is, I don't give a shit about you. I'm just going to ram this down your throat, right? I want to know what you need. I want to know what you've done in the past. So you ask questions. If I ask someone, hey, so how long have you been in the market for a pen? They say, oh, I'm not looking for a pen. Great, have a nice day. I don't sell people things that people aren't looking for. I wouldn't try to sell you a pen if you're not looking to buy a pen. So and if someone said to me, I say, wow, this person really knows how to sell. Because the biggest mistake that rookie salesmen make is they try to sell to everybody versus weeding out people who are not interested and only selling to those who are. So I ask questions, but not any question. I ask pointed questions to identify what type of pens you've used in the past, how much money you have. Now, the pen is like a euphemism for any product, right? By doing that, I can get a good sense of what you're about. And then when I'm done asking my questions and I know what I need to know, I'll say, well, based on what you said to me, this pen is a perfect fit. Let me tell you why. And now I'm actually matching my pen to what you need, and I tailor my presentation to fill that need, and it's much more elegant. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
So, what do you guys think? Any first thoughts? What did you learn from the video?
It's filtering. You can't sell to everybody.
Yep, that's right. Any more? Any more learnings?
It's really hard to find someone that look for a product like you might ask 100 people to know like only a few of them need a pen. Yes, so it's really hard.
Okay, so that's a comment about very hard to find people who want to buy what you want.
But to ask the right questions.
He asked the right questions?
No, so yeah, so it means, I mean, what I was trying to say is that you need to ask the right questions.
You need to ask the right questions. Correct. All right. Good. When I saw that video for the first time, I was like, wow, that's pretty amazing. So I want to just go back to sharing my screen. Okay, so we went through a few different, covered a few different ideas during that point, and I want to get you guys to think about, become aware of some limiting beliefs. Okay? Some of you guys have already said a few already. When I try to sell, I try to take advantage of people. It's very hard to find people who want to buy from me, okay? And it's really hard to go and do sales or to sell anything if you have these beliefs underpinning the way you see the world. You just won't believe it, and you will not come across as genuine or convincing. And if you're having those, so I just want to quickly let you guys just if any of these things about sales come to you. Okay, you're not a salesperson. You don't annoy people. You don't be greedy. You're not smart enough. Could get embarrassed. People are already, they don't want to buy. Okay, so just be aware if you are thinking some of those things. The other thing to think about is if Eric just said, representatives, apologies. if we were talking about selling yourself as a job, you're going for a job interview. If you have these type of limiting beliefs, these will hold you back also. Okay, so a common one is people always think about, I'm not good enough. Not good enough for this position. Not enough experience, not enough training, not talented. Now, employers should see my value and hire me. That's another common one. I've never been successful, never been the best. I'm just doing my job, nothing special. Especially when I ask you to talk about your achievements, right? So just be aware of, or if you're doing networking and building relationships, I hate office politics. If these are things that are circulating in your mind, it's going to hold you back. At the moment, I just want you to just be aware of them. I have a lot of these associations as well. From earlier sales job, I did do a door-to-door salesperson job when I was out of high school. I did telephone sales in one of the jobs, and these rejections are annoying people, not believing in the product. So all of these things I know. I've perhaps you associate sales with this guy here, right? the sleazy used car salesman. Now this is where it's already been brought up. He's trying to take advantage of you, trying to sell you something, that could be something wrong with it. Now, if this is your self-image, if this image of sales, then you're never going to be very good at it, or you're never actually going to do it. Okay. But what I have found is one very good way to overcome all of these limiting self-beliefs. It is this. You want to move away from a sleazy used car salesman to an image of a doctor. Okay. It's quite a good analogy because I'm just overcoming COVID. But I've also, last week I went to see a doctor. It was about my cough as well. Before COVID, you might be noticing I've had a lot of cough. So when I went to a doctor, how is it different selling as a doctor versus selling as a used car salesperson? Right. I go there, the doctor listens to me, asks questions, runs some tests, and then at the end, they gave me, okay, this is what I think could be wrong with you. You can take this drug, you can run this test, and come back to me in a few days. And what do I say? Oh, thank you very much. And I take the prescription, and I go and pay for my medicine, and I take it. Isn't that a different way to sell? When I heard the description, sell like a doctor is an expert in the field. They're qualified. Patients go to them with problems. They listen. They prescribe. So when I think of sales these days, I visualize myself as being the doctor, and I prescribe my solution to my patients, because I want them to get the benefit from the treatment, from the medicine. All of those limiting beliefs can come down to this, the image of a doctor. And I use this phrase, as a doctor, I see it as my moral obligation to communicate the value of my offer in order to help my clients. Right? I think of, if I have a cure, but substitute cure for any type of products. Right? It could be a car, it could be a pen, it could be a career transition training program, or it could be yourself, selling yourself for a job. when you're interviewing for a job. If you truly believe in the value of the product and that provide benefit for your clients, just like a doctor would if they had a cure for this, looking at the mother and the son in the background there, wouldn't you want to do your very best to tell them this product will be able to help your son? And when I picture this, I know all my self-doubt, all my limiting things, all falls away. Okay, so I just wanted to share that for you guys, and hope that's helpful for you guys as well. So let's go into some psychology of why people buy. I've got these lists of these things. People buy because of necessity, because they just need it. If you go back to the basic psychology, the basic organizational psychology, the Maslow hierarchy of need, what do people need to buy? You need to buy food because you need to eat. You need to buy a house because you need a place to live or rent a house. All of the things, you need something, so you buy it. People buy because it's convenient. They may not need something right now, but it is there, so they buy it. They buy because of security. They're not sure about what will happen in the future, so they buy something to provide some certainty. These are like insurance products. This could be investment products for the future. Fear of missing out, right? There's nothing that's also a very motivator. You want to buy because everybody else is buying it, and if you don't get it, you're going to miss out on the benefits. And we've certainly seen this in the real estate market. House prices are going up, and you better buy, otherwise you're just going to miss out on everything. People buy because they want to belong to identity. So an example of this, I don't know, the first thing that came to mind is Donald Trump. They're selling all these "Make America Great Again" hats. You just put that thing on the sign, on a cap, on any sort of merchandise, and because people identify with that politics, they just buy because they want to belong. Okay. Could buy because you're getting a good deal. You may not need it, but it seems like it's a bargain, so you go for it. And lastly, people buy because they want to be happy. Buying something, consuming a product, make you happy. Okay. So here are some of the reasons why we buy. So think back to last big purchase that you bought. Maybe you can relate to some of these. What I want to do now is just map it to why people hire. When people are hiring, they are essentially buying labor. They're buying people's experience, abilities, talents. So the same thing, number one, necessity. They need somebody to do the job. And you do a job in an organization to help them create value, whether that's putting a product out to market or product or service. They need it for administration to make the company run. They just need somebody to do the job. Okay. Necessity. They hire because I put down here, people are easy to deal with. Security, they hire because having to be able to lock somebody in, somebody available to start, and also people are willing to stay once they hire. Fear of missing out, it's another word in labor market, is the war for talent. If you don't hire this person with special skills to help you grow your business, your competition will do it. Identity of belonging maps to cultural fit and having shared values. Getting a good deal, you get a match between the remuneration and salary and benefits. And they just like you. Okay. So these are some of the motivators for people to buy, to hire, and I want you to keep that in mind. So you step into the shoes of the buyer. This is what motivates them to buy. Any questions or comments or anything to add? Okay, sounds pretty straightforward. The other model I want to share with you about buyer, it's the buyer's journey. So people don't just wake up one morning and decide to go and hire somebody, or to go and buy somebody, to buy a product or service. So this model talks about somebody who is going from not aware that they have a problem or need to be met, to having some awareness of their problem, to the consider stage where they are aware, they're aware of the problem and they're aware of what are some of the solutions available that they could buy in order to solve their problem. And the last one is decision stage, where they are now, they know about the problem, they know about what options they have to solve, to solutions to solve their problem, and now they know about the actual product. So not just the type of product, but the actual product from actual vendors. Okay. So this is the buyer's journey, going from, you could say, not aware, being a cold audience, to somewhat aware, being a warm audience, to a hot audience where they're aware of your product, in which case is you. In the labor market, you are the product, so they're aware of who you are. So knowing which stage your target audience is at is very important. So what I'll do now is I will share a typical buyer's journey for somebody getting hired. Okay, so this is the get hired process. So somebody who's at the not aware stage will just be business as usual. Okay, they're just carrying on, doing what they need to do. They're not aware that there's a need. When there's a need, usually somebody makes some noise, somebody calls out, and then they make requests for more resources. Okay, now they go through the large companies have a process of creating a role and approving a role, so they become at least aware of the problem. Then once the role is approved, they advertise the role. This is also when they'll reach out to recruiters. The decision makers or people on the team will also reach out to people that they know, to their own network. Then you usually have an application process. You get hundreds and hundreds of applications come in. You have a screening process to decide who goes in, which of the application goes in the bin and which one makes the shortlist. This is known as the screening process. Then you have the interview, where you actually, from your shortlist, you actually go in and now you meet the people who you think meets the criteria. After the interview, you have background checks, and then you make an offer. There's some negotiation, and then there's acceptance. So that is a typical getting hired process. Things may be different. Like when I was going through the graduate program, there's usually a bit more complicated. You have assessment centers. You have to do group presentations. Manu, I know for some of your jobs, you had to do a presentation of your sales strategy, for example. So, but typically it is something like this. People moving from the cold stage, warm to the hot. Okay. Knowing where you're at is very important because you do different things. Right? If somebody who was not aware of a problem is similar to you trying to sell me a pen when you're not even when I'm not even in the market for shopping a pen. That's usually not going to end up very well. So here are some of the tactics that I put down as the appropriate stage of the buyer's journey. So in the cold stage, you may do informational interviews. So this is called asking questions and finding out more about what they're doing and what challenges and problems that they have. Do some networking, attending events to meet people. This is where you would, when they move into the awareness stage, this is where they could go on LinkedIn and start searching for what are the sort of people out there. So I'll talk about product market fit in a moment. This is where when the roles come out, you want to do an evaluation to look at whether there's a good fit between who you are and what the job is. In general terms, it's known as product market fit. And for the ones that there's a good fit, you would apply for the job using resumes, letters, and you make phone calls. And at the interview or at the phone calls, you want to establish presence. I'll talk about each of those in a moment. You use storytelling. I'll go into a bit more detail of each of these things. Be a consultant, closing the sale, do follow up, make proposal, dealing with objections, and in the end, when you accept it, thank you notes. So, as you can see, what I want you to get from this diagram is there are appropriate tactics for the different stages of the buyer's journey. Just like you wouldn't go and go up to somebody and try to sell them a pen, you wouldn't go up to somebody without knowing about their company or what they're doing and ask them for a job. This is the main message. And I just put down there the application, the interview, and the negotiations is the main touch points that you have to be able to sell yourself. And today we're going to just look at the interview stage. What I'm going to walk you through is a process for doing sales, and you can use these as building blocks for different types of sales situations or meetings. So how do you structure a sales call? Here is the basic building blocks. First one, you want to make sure there's a good product market fit between what the customer wants and what you have to offer. The second one is executive presence. This is a word that has been used a lot in job search and in career development. This is when you walk into a room, do people feel your presence? You know it if it's there, and you know it when it's not there. I'll go into a bit more details about that. The third stage is where you make your introduction or make your presentation about your product or yourself. Next stage is to respond to questions, ask questions, and finally bringing the meeting to a close getting people to take action. And then afterwards is the follow-up stage. So we're going to go quickly through through each of these stages. And these are, I'll use it in the job interview context, but you can use this for any type of situation. So product market fit. So product market fit is really as simple as that. So you have your product, which is in this case you as a person, or rather as a talent, and you have the market, which is the employer. Is there fit, right? Do you match? So is it a close match, or is it only a small match? Okay, so does your experience and skills match the roles and responsibilities and the requirements that they ask for? Do you have the right education training for the qualification they ask for? And what are your goals, right? Does it match the job the employer is offering? And what are your values? And does that align with the company culture? This is as simple as that. You want to do an evaluation before you spend all this time to pursue the opportunity. So for me, it's simple. The process is as simple as having your CV there, and you compare that with a job description, and you just go and tick off the requirements, right? So this is the job I put down at the start as my target role, and what I found is actually I don't meet a lot of the requirements. So in this case, I wouldn't waste my time to do this. That is like trying to sell a pen to somebody who doesn't want to buy a pen. Or they want a certain type of pen, but your pen is like a pencil, for example. You don't meet the requirements. Hope that's very straightforward. So what are the strategies? I always advise people only apply for jobs if you have an excellent product market fit. Purely because of the competition. People, there's more people applying than if you don't meet the requirements straight up, your resume is going to go. So what can you do? So what can I do if I don't match my target role? First of all, you want to identify and analyze your gaps. Right? So I would say ask feedback from hiring managers. Ask yourself this question: is what you're missing absolutely necessary for you to do the job? I know, as a project engineer, there are some things that I do. The requirements could be must have 10 years experience. Or what if you only have 5 years experience? Now this is where you can ask that question. What are you actually missing? 5, 10 years, what is it really crucial to be able to do the job? And also ask yourself what transferable skills that you have that can be translated into this new role. So this is the identify and analyze phase. Get feedback from hiring managers. A comment I would make is that most people, when they make a job description, it is a wish list. Sometimes they have limited time to put together a job description. Sometimes maybe it's just a cut and paste from a previous job description. So you should ask that question. And if you do have gaps, you want to work on closing the gap, right? If you are missing qualifications or knowledge, can you do additional studies? can you get practical experience within your role, your current role in organization? Can you target smaller companies? The smaller companies usually have less competition, so they may be willing to consider you if you don't have all the requirements. Can you get a mentor? Can you do an internship? Can you do volunteering opportunities to develop those abilities or skills? When you do studies these days, they usually have a capstone project. So that's usually a project that you do within a company. That is what you would do in a real job. So you're working on a real problem, creating a real deliverable. Or you can start your own business and start pitching clients and learn along the way. So these are closing the gap strategies. So that's the first step, making sure there's a good product market fit before you invest the time down the sales journey. Next, I want to talk about is executive presence. You know, it is not just your skills, your experience, and your qualification that will get you hired. I read that there's a book written that it is the gap between merit and success. You may have those requirements that they're looking for, but buyers don't make decision purely on logic. Emotions come first. I think all the advertising companies know that. They try to stimulate our emotions before they get us to buy. So people make decisions based on emotions first. They justify it on logic, and then they take action based on urgency. Okay, so this is a very important sales concept I want you guys to take, and it applies equally to when you are going for a job. So I could ask you guys some questions, decision makers, right? What are some of the emotions that they feel when they are trying to make a decision on who to hire? I put down there as a comment, they all want to make the right hire. They want to avoid making wrong decisions. What do you think they're feeling? Anyone?
I think they're looking for trust as a factor.
Yep.
They're looking for commitments.
Trust, commitment.
They're looking for good cultural fit.
I'm after more like what are the feelings? If you
Okay, feelings.
just think about when you're about to make a purchase of a large investment, like buying a house or buying a car.
Yeah, so they have this fear factor.
They feel fear, right? Fear of what?
They're fearful of making a choice. Between the one they're speaking to and the one they've interviewed in the past, or the one they're gonna get interviewed in the future. I'll probably, if this is the best guy, I should hire him or not. So they're probably skeptical in there, I would say. Not really sure. That's common feeling, I think. So from a buyer's point, because I've been a customer myself, so I know what I feel from a vendor's perspective.
Yeah, sure.
Customer and vendors have the equal feelings.
It's all the same. Psychologically, it's the same, right? We want to make the right. They want to make the right hire.
Right decision, yeah.
Yeah, because hiring people costs money. You think about all the investment goes into advertising, the interviewing process, and then once you offer somebody the contract, You have to, you pay them, you train them, and if you made the wrong decision, it's very costly. You think about all the reasons why people buy, right? Just necessity. If it's the wrong person, they won't be able to do the job. You're going to fall behind, right? If you don't like the person, it's just going to be, oh God, I got to see this guy again. Right. So they don't want to make the wrong decision. And what I'll put to you is, in order to satisfy that emotion, right, the fear emotion that they're feeling, the most important thing a job seeker can demonstrate is confidence. If you ever done interview training with me, I always say, if you are not confident in your own ability, then your interviewer or your buyer will have no confidence in you whatsoever. They look to you almost as an instinct to see how confident you are. This is from the moment. It is from the moment they receive your application to the first greeting phone call to interview. The moment you walk in the door, they're looking for your confidence. So this executive presence, yes, the word executive applies to leaders or executives in a company, but having that presence in your domain of expertise is what I'm talking about here. And the word there is having confidence. And what does confidence? Because this executive presence could be a whole training in itself. So I want to just bring you aware. This is what you need to. These are some of the things that you can do. It starts with body language. When they look at you, people speak more through the nonverbal communication. So do you have eye contact? Do you smile? When you go and greet somebody with a handshake, it's firm. When you sit down, when you position yourself, are you open or do you pay attention to the speakers? The other thing is your voice. When you're talking, is it clear? Is it concise? Your tone of voice. Is it a monotone or is it something with a variation of tone? Do you have inflection going up and down to make? Do you speak loud enough for people to hear you? And when you speak, do you speak with conviction? Are you sure about what you're saying? This comes through in the expression of your voice. The other thing is called charisma. This is a almost instinctive as well. It comes down to, do you like this person? Do they command people's attention? Are they able to just influence people? This comes from appearance, authenticity, which is are you being yourself? Are you just being yourself, or are you trying to pretend to be somebody else? Not pretending to be somebody else. Standing out. This could be going against something that's normal, whether that's appearance or things that you say or your mannerism. Do you have authority when you walk into the room from your body language or from your voice? And they'll put down their charm. Can you get people to like you? And the last thing about confidence is decisiveness. Do you take a stand, or are you unsure? Do you speak the truth even if it's uncomfortable, especially talking to people at a higher position? Do you know your stuff? Do you know in your domain? Do you know what you're talking about? Another thing about decisiveness is about composure. In job interviews, they deliberately put you under pressure by asking you questions to see how you respond. And of course, the substance is about making decisions. Right. So these are some of the things that convey confidence, and it's something that you need to do when you are interacting with a buyer or a decision maker or an employer. Okay, understanding that people make decisions, emotions first, and if the emotion of a buyer is not wanting to make the wrong decision, you need to give them confidence. Giving them confidence will satisfy that, then they can start looking at your logic. That makes sense. Introduction. We talked about using your personal brand statement. I just put down there the framework 1, 2, and 3 from previously. Those are easy way for you to introduce yourself. I want to add a new framework, which is the process I used to answer the question, tell me a bit about yourself. Okay. So it works like this. Number one is you use one of your brand statements. So it could be a high level statement about what is it that you do, who you are. Next is you describe your current and previous job. So usually people in the labor market, they care about what you've done most recently. So introduce who the company that you work for, the business unit, project, or the team, your responsibilities, but most importantly, describe some achievements that you've made. Number 3, just a brief overview of your career, just to set the scene. Number 4 is very important. List your key strengths. What are some your superpowers? What are some of the things that you do that other people cannot do that make you stand apart? Number 5 is what are your goals and what are you looking for in your next role? So this question answers the fit. Do we have the right product market fit? And you end off by saying, look forward to answering your questions. Finding more about the role and the company. So that is the last one is a little transition to get them to ask questions about you. So which brings us to the next stage, which is responding to questions. And I'll just go quickly through this because we mentioned this before. People ask questions to find out exchange of information, to find out more about you and your abilities and what you can do for the company. So your purpose in this stage is to demonstrate who you are, your skills, experience, and ability to do your job in a credible and interesting manner. And stories are what fulfills the criteria of credible and interesting. Okay. Here are some of the typical questions that you may be asked. And I introduced the idea of a story bank. So every time you have a highlight in your job, in your career, add it to the bank. You want to add details such as, what were the sequence of events, what happened, who was involved, who are the main characters in your story, when did it happen, what were the highlights. So people don't want to hear about every single detail. They want to hear about the most, the highlights, the main exciting bits of the story. And they want to also know about why is this story important to you. Okay, so capture all those details because you want to use the stories as a context to answer these questions. Okay. The STAR framework is where you talk about a situation, you talk about a task that you did, action that you took, and the result. It's a very simple framework. But when people want to know about these things, such as what were your greatest achievement, how do you overcome a challenging situation, or what mistakes you made, they want to hear it in a story form. about something that actually happened. Okay, so this is the part about responding to questions. You want to have stories ready. You want to use the STAR framework to be able to respond to these questions. Okay, so I'll go quickly through that, and if you have any questions, I can address that later. Then the next thing is about asking questions. Okay, this is where I find most people do wrong. It's a missed opportunity in a job interview. Okay, so I use this part I call be the consultant. You know, I want you to become the consultant. But what is a consultant, you may ask? I saw this definition a while back, and it was a bit funny, and it's actually very accurate. Yeah. Consultants are the people who borrow your watch to tell you what time it is, then walk off with the watch. And I would also add, then charge you money. Right, so consultants, well, it's a brilliant description. Another way to think about it is also this little comic, the Dilbert comic. So Dilbert, the consultant. I've been hired to identify the most important goals of your organization. How will you do that? Well, I'll ask you what they are, and you tell me. I'll put your answers on a PowerPoint slide. Next week, I'll show you the slide, and I tell you to focus on your most important goals. Then I get paid. That's the most important goal. Yeah. So, consultant. Who can say what is it that consultants do most from this comic?
They ask questions.
They ask questions, exactly. And this is where I found that most people don't do enough. They don't give enough thought to the questions, and they just ask random questions. So it is ask questions. My first point is you need to ask questions strategically. When I say strategically, is you need to know what is the end that you want. What is the result that you want from asking questions? Why you want to ask questions in this job interview situation is you want to find out what are the main problems, concerns, and pain points of your decision maker, just like what the dog bird is. You want to know what a perfect solution or candidate look like for them. Okay. This is literally finding out the answers to a test while you're doing the test. Because they will tell you. Right. And it's another important thing to do in a consultant is you change the dynamic. Usually in a job interview, the recruiter or hiring manager asks questions and you respond, and then they ask questions and you respond, and it becomes like an interrogation, right? Like a prison guard trying to interrogate, trying to get information out of you to determine whether you're guilty or not. That power dynamic is not very good. You want to shift it into a conversation, and you do this through questions, and then asking a follow-up question, and then sharing your own stories. So when you do this, you turn it from an interrogation into a conversation, and the power now, instead of the employer recruiter being higher than you and you're down here, you are now on an equal footing. And if you do this well, you then become the trusted advisor, or you become the consultant to be able to help the company solve their problems. So based on the responses, in the case of a job interview, you want to see whether there's a fit between what the company is looking for and what you can provide. And if there's a good fit, you can position yourself as the perfect candidate by slightly updating your personal brand statement. Okay, so when I say this is like getting the answers in the middle of an exam while you're doing it, this is what exactly is. As you hear the responses to your question, you need to start formulating your answers to the questions. Okay, they tell you the answer, what they're looking for and what their main problems are. Okay, I'll get back to this in a little moment, but the way to do it is listen to the answers and update your personal brand statement. I put down here a big list of questions. I will make this available, but really it is to design to get information out of them, and you can use this at any stage to get information about the company, the role, and your decision maker. Okay. Asking these questions gives you the answers that you want. The last stage is to close. Okay, so you can't leave anything go on forever. It needs to be brought to a close. The main objective of a close is to be clear on what's of the next step action. So you want to ask about what's the next step in the interview process. Now, a thing that I do is that is called a trial close. Is you can say, assuming there's a good fit with the job, what would be the next step in the process? It's a trial close because you can test them. You put an image in their mind that you are a good fit. So they already thought about it. Oh, it's a good fit. Here's the next step. So give you clarity about your the interview process, what to expect next. The other thing I do is you want to clarify if there's any concerns about your suitability for the role. I ask a question like, is there any concerns about my suitability for the role that we have not discussed yet? So not everybody, especially Australians, they don't want to hurt your feelings. So if there's something not good to say, they won't tell you. They just won't return your calls later on. So at an interview, when you're face to face with the decision maker, it's better to find out the bad news if you're not suited for the role than to leave hanging. So I asked this question to be able to bring that to surface. Number 3, so this is where, from the previous stage, where you get the answers from the exam, where you find out about what their main problems are and what they care most about, and what does a good person for the role looks like. Then you summarize this. Okay, so this is where I mean you update your personal brand statement when you're talking to this particular audience. So what I will do, you describe how you meet the key requirements for the role. So you just have the confidence straight up to tell them, look, these are the key requirements and I meet the role. You summarize some of the stories that you've told to demonstrate you have those skills and abilities. You emphasize your strengths, right? This is where your strengths is what makes you stand out from the competition, and how you can be the perfect solution to their problems, which they have told you in this previous stage. Say why you want this job and why you join this organization, to confirm the fit, and say you look forward to working together. So most people leave this part out, right? Over an hour interview, people could talk a lot of things. You want to finish strong. You want to summarize what you talked about, and you want to leave them with the right message. And then, of course, thank them for their time. This is the close. Okay. So your objective in the interview is to confirm that you are fit and you become the 1 or 2 people that they're willing to that they want to make the offer to. Yes, Vu. Question.
Yeah, with the summarize what the best person is, should it be should I talk to them face to face or by email? Like
So this is still face to face. This is before you finish the interview.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But to your question, you also say the same thing when in the next stage, which is follow up. Okay. I also get them after your interview, you want to write a follow-up note within 24 hours, thank them for their time. Again, summarize the same thing from the meeting, right? Everything that I said to you before then, Vu, you do it again, you write it in the thank you note. And again, say express your interest in the role. So repetition, you can see there's, again, you want to do a phone call to them, and again, you can repeat the same thing. Here, I would actually ask them straight up. Am I one of the preferred candidates? Am I the 1 or 2 people that you'll be making offers to? If not, that's good. You know, always there's going to be other people might be suitable, and the buyer, as they say, and the man with the gold make the rules. So the man with the gold decides. If it's not you, it's not you. But it's better to get to know about it than to drag on the process. And yeah, ask them if they require any more information about you. And then follow up, keep in regular contact. And the buyer, as I said, the buyer with the gold, the man with the gold makes the rules. You work to their timeline. Maybe they're not ready for it. Maybe they haven't got the budget. Maybe they haven't got around to doing whatever. Staying in contact means that you are staying in the running to get the role. So that is the structuring your sales call. As you can see, you can use this. You can use this in any sort of sales context. It will be, these are the basic building blocks. Now, whether you are, if you're doing a job application, so in that case, it's all written, you can still use these things, right? You can, even though it's writing, you still want to give them a phone call to run through all of these steps, and make sure you capture all of these things in your writing. When you are negotiating a contract, so you got an offer, so that negotiation stage is still a sales call. You are still selling yourself, right? So making sure there's the right fit between what you want and what they're looking for. If they're offering a very low salary or the job description is changed, then yeah, you might not want to pursue it. Executive presence is still the showing the confidence, projecting that confidence. Intro is when you present your core information, whatever is appropriate. That is in a negotiation. This could be your review of the offer and what you think, and it could be you presenting your counter offer to what they have proposed. We'll go through a round of questions, because questions is information exchange, and then you still got to close, get people moving to taking action, and follow up, of course. Any questions about this structuring the sales call process? Yeah, Sundar.
I just wanted to add, like last week, I told you about. I mean, I applied for 3 places and I got an interview lined up.
Yeah.
It was more of an initial catch up. It was actually, I think if you've heard of the company called In8.
In8, yep, I do.
Yeah, so it's actually an American company which bought over QA software. So TeamBinder was just very popular in Australia. So
Yep.
so the guy, I applied for a project delivery consultant.
Ah, interesting.
Role. And but anyway, got set up the call and actually had a very good. Although I was halfway through my COVID recovery, I said, okay, I'm just going to do my best. But had a very good open chat with Matt, and then talking to him, and then and I think I sort of captured some of those points that they had put out as what a project delivery consultant they were looking for. So I think there was really good vibes between me and him, and then conversation went on very well, and then he was actually doing some of these things for me anyway, like clarifying those questions, and then and he was actually telling that what's going to happen next in the next part of the interview. But he actually wanted to capture a very important question. He said, like, I just wanted to know, what are your salary expectations are, and what this job is going to be. And he actually said this is going to be around in this range. And I said, actually, that's very fair for the work that you're doing. So I said, yeah, I'm okay to proceed for the next round. And he actually went on to explain to me what the next rounds are going to be. So, it was something that I thought, okay, those job descriptions look good in the sense, and I knew, okay, this is something which I've used. I'm a user as well of that one of their products, but so it was quite interesting that conversation. And yeah, in a way, it sort of fit into this model from both sides, and creating that trust, creating that good vibe, of course, will help. And then asking those questions both from his side, and yeah, he also put it out, do you have any questions? And I actually got to know that they're actually looking for 2 or 3 people for this particular role, and what it was all about, and so yeah, and how they've actually grown for the last 2 years, by just asking some questions about that company, and they've actually grown as well. So yeah, it's an open, organic conversation.
It'll be interesting now to know how you can get to the closing stage. So what's the next stage?
Oh, it's the next stage is to talk to. He asked me what my travel plans are and all that, and then talking to 2 more people who are, I guess, will be in the project managers, and then also the VP of projects. So that's the last person that I'll probably need to talk to. So, and it's positive. So, but now I have to take on a few more points that you have put. I didn't follow up with an email and stuff like that within 24 to 48 hours. But it's something I think I need to do, and just thank him for, whether it goes on or not, but at least thank him for that conversation that we had, and
very nice. Yeah. Wow, that's good. So I hope this is a good framework for you to do it, to do sales. And yeah, I just wanted to just summarize today's. This is the end of today's content. Now we started off with a little fun exercise, and put you into a bit of a uncomfortable situation to do sales. And I hope that exercise was helpful for you to get you to think about some of your some limiting beliefs about sales, and what you can once you become aware, then you can go and address them. We stepped into a little bit about the psychology of the buyer, the motivation behind the buyer, why they buy, and also going through the journey from being a cold audience, somebody who doesn't know that they have a problem, to somebody who's aware of the solution, and someone who's aware of your product or yourself. And I've shared with you a process that you can use to structure any sort of a meeting or interaction where you need to promote yourself in order to get somebody to buy from you or to hire you. So yeah, so keen to hear any thoughts, any key learnings from you guys from today's session. I know it's a very important session. Most of us here, technical guys, engineers, are not. We did engineering so we don't have to sell, but when it comes down to it, we sell every day. We have to work with people every day. We need to influence them. We need to get them to, even with kids, trying to get them to do certain things. Our wives, our partners. So learning to sell will improve your relationships and will definitely help you to get the success that you want. So it's a very important skill set, and look forward to coach you guys through this process as well in the coming weeks. Any sort of key learnings or insights before I go into the homework for the week? Oh, good. Okay, because I just go straight into it. So your homework, what I want you to do is evaluate your product market fit of your target job. So you'll have a target job that you've brought into this program. Up until now, in the beginning I said it was like aspirational, but now when you are wanting to present your product to the buyer, well, one of the things about sales is you want to be in order for you to be confident, you need to believe in your product, right? So you need to have, and getting a good product market fit is the first step. So I want you to do that. So simply just look at your CV, look at the job description, tick off what you have and what you don't have. Identify if there's any actions that you need to close, which includes getting feedback from the hiring managers about which are crucial gaps and which are things that they could live with. I want to go through all that list of limiting beliefs to see if any of those apply to you. Okay. It's awareness is the first step to address those things, and I can help you with some of the coaching if there are some of the limiting beliefs that comes up. There are different ways. I've shared one with you, which is putting yourself as a doctor, selling as a doctor, and how it is your moral imperative to be able to share your product with your customer in order to give them the benefits. I want you to write your introduction using framework number 4. So this is the tell me about yourself. And this framework is what I use when I coach people on how to, on job interviews. This for sure will be the first question people ask. If the interview becomes unstructured, you need to take control of it by being able to provide a good overview about yourself. Okay, so this is a very good framework. I'm gonna be putting together an interview planning sheet, so I will get back to you this week. And as we are finishing up this program, I also got the putting it all together worksheet. So all the activities that we put together, you may have done it, written it down in different places, cut and paste in different posts. I want you to put it all together into in one place, so that you will have you would have all your outputs and deliverables from this program in one place to help you with your career transition journey. So that's it. That's it for today. And also I'm going to check in with your accountability partners. I know we are at a different, everybody's at a different stage in the program. And it's also the first time I run this program. So what I planned next was like a integration or a celebration session. I think, well, I want to catch up with each of you this week just to see where you guys are all at. I want you guys to be able to complete your homework and actually create those deliverables that's going to help you. So I will arrange a one-on-one session with you guys to see where you are at and where you need help. And once I can see that everybody's got most of the things done, we'll do like a celebration session. So it may or may not be next Sunday, but I want to just catch up with each one of you to see where you're at. Okay, but in terms of the content, this is all the content. Any questions or feedback before we finish off for tonight? All good. Right. Sorry it's taken a bit longer than today. There's quite a bit of content and a bit of interaction activity. Sundar, did you want to say something?
Oh no, just I wanted to say thank you so much, Wei. My last week I was a little bit out, and I am traveling again this week, but between Wednesday and Friday to South Australia. But yeah, I should be back over the weekend.
Okay, no worries. Good. Well, we'll have our midweek coaching on Wednesday, just to see where you guys are at. Keep an eye out for the slides today. I'll put a replay. So I note that 4 people are not here today. So I might redo the session again, or I'll see how it goes. But thank you for tonight. I will catch you on Wednesday.
Thanks, Wei.
Thanks, Wei.
Thanks,
Good
Long.
night.
Thanks.
Night, everyone.
Thanks. See ya.
Night.